Now I invite you to consciously rest your attention in your mind, thoughts and images or emotions. So consciously shift to the world of mind and form. Just notice what happens in your body when you do that. And then again, consciously rest your consciousness in the silence of your being, underneath the surface of form. And notice what happens in your body. Then again, shift your consciousness into the world of mind, body of mind, body of emotion, form, memory. Notice what happens in your body. And then shift to the silence of your being, which is open, spacious, deeply still and awake. Notice what happens in your body. And then one more time, shift your consciousness to the world of mind, of form, of thinking. And notice what happens in your body. What's familiar, what's new, what surprises you. And then let's shift again to the silence of our being. Underneath the surface movement of mind. Being in this field of silence together. Resting. Notice what happens in your body, what's familiar, what's new or surprising. And then let it all go. So perhaps you can notice how easily actually we can shift. Yeah. From being to, let's call it, thinking. Surface consciousness to depth consciousness. When we can make that shift in daily life, there will come a time that you will just shift into being. The more you're able to play consciously with being all in your mind, or being all in the silence, you kind of come more in charge. You have the opportunity to be more in charge of that revolution of spirit. Because that's what it is. It's just one tiny little shift what brings the revolution, what brings the change. Do we want to stay in our minds, or do we want to move into a new home, our true nature? It's that simple. So the more we rest in the silence of our being, the more we step out of that matrix of thinking, of memories, of conditioned self, of our story that we keep on believing, of our upbringing that keeps repeating itself. And it's not a judgment, because we all go through that. Yeah. And even when we're steeped into the silence of our being, the story can still be running. But what starts happening is that stickiness that gets less and less and less. So there's kind of a natural detachment that starts happening. And it can be just with all kinds of conditioned selves. For instance, I know in the past, one part of my conditioned self, I was just trained, a way of surviving, that if I would be really nice or would do things so people would like me, then everything would be safe, And I would kind of follow to some extent what would be the right thing, so I would please the other, then I could relax, I was safe. So first, of course, I have to see that pattern. And then when we start seeing our patterns, they seems like they start growing. It's like it's right in our face. Like, wow, every movement I do or anything I say, I do in the hope that somebody likes me. Because when somebody likes me, then I'm safe, then I can relax and everything is okay. That's not a very relaxing way of being. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So when I first see that, so wake up to that conditioned self, I start noticing, like, God, wherever I go, I do it. And it's not bad or wrong. It's just a conditioned self to survive. It's also very handy to have. It's a nice survival strategy. It just doesn't always work. And it's not very freeing always. And then to feel that conditioned self of working on hopefully being liked is being experienced in the body as a tightness, kind of a knot in my belly. And then I just need to meet that knot, receive it. Then kind of the next step is that knot tends to open up. But still the story is partly believed, or even I know it's not true, but it's still believed. more and more I'm deepening simultaneously in the silence of my being. So then there will come a time when you first feel like, gee, will this ever stop? Because it will keep on happening. The periods that it's happening get shorter, and that I believe it is less and less believing in it, but still that same intensity is here. That's kind of the process. Like, God, the same old thing, feels the same, it's getting more intense. Will it ever go? Well, that it gets less and more intense actually means it's on its way out. Because the more it's on the surface, the more we can see it. When it's deep inside and we're totally ignorant to it, we're not even aware of it, how it rules our lives. But then there comes a period when the more and more we start steeping into the silence, into the deep, dark, unknown. At some point, there comes just it's almost a cut of the umbilical cord. It comes a natural detachment. The story is still running, but it's just not interesting anymore. I'm just, perhaps here and there get pulled in. I was like, no interest anymore. And then comes this place of simultaneously resting more and more deeply into the silence of our being. And just allowing this whatever, blah, to do what it does. Till it has run its course, because it all needs to run its course. And when it's done, we don't know. It's not up to us. But we can choose to make the shift. I'm not going to go there anymore. I looked into it. I'm awake to it. I know how it is in my body, where it lives. I just don't even want to inquire into it anymore. I just want to rest here and allow the silence, the deep, dark, potency, suck it up. It just melts into it as everything when we let it, when we take our hands off. Yeah. So more and more that shift or that revolution of spirit, where we're capable of making that shift and staying with it naturally, instead of being taken by our conditioned self, we're being taken by the silence into the deep, dark unknown. It's way more interesting. It's so mysterious. It's so unknown. It's so unfathomable. And it just takes us. And this form stuff is just not so interesting anymore. So it's kind of a funny thing. The more that revolution comes to life in ourselves, of moving away from anything that's not spirit, that's not our true nature. It's almost like everything falls away. It's like becomes like a dream. It's just like, it's not interesting anymore. It doesn't have life. The life is taken out of it. Our life is the silence. And that's not necessarily very still. It can be deeply, deeply, profoundly still. It can be so still that it hurts you. Hurts your ears. Hurts your body. But it's this wondrous unknown. And then that starts happening in every part of your life. You can barely relate anymore to left or right or up or down or black or white. It's just not interesting. Thank you, Shiraya. And so it's just not interesting anymore. And that's the process. Some things are not interesting, poof, in a split second. Other deep conditioned places, they need a little work. So when we really step into the revolution of spirit, is daring to make that choice. I'm not going to go there anymore. Unless I'm so pulled out of curiosity to look into it a little deeper, go ahead, go for it. Look with your eyes open, with the eyes of awareness. And then sooner or later, what needs to be seen, you come more and more awake to the pattern. It's like a matrix, it's a trance. And then you can step out, and then you come in, you step out, and then you come more and more and more and more into the dark. The radiant dark, the alive dark, the mystery. It has no form. It's deeply, profoundly loving, welcoming, bright, open, alive. That's what we are. And the more we come into that fierceness of staying home, the more we will be able to rest here, now, home. And we start living on a whole other timeline, a whole other trajectory. Yeah. We start living in the unknown. It's not so familiar anymore what's happening. It's new, it's fresh, it's open, it's alive. And there's this constantly honing in, listening to the silence, listening to what wants to happen, listening what wants to be brought to action. And I feel that's what's needed right now. For ourselves and for the whole. And the more we help each other with that, the more it can spread everywhere. And it's not, at least I am not, perhaps you, but I'm not like busy, like, oh, I'm busy spreading the silence, or I'm busy waking up everybody. I'm actually not busy with that. I'm just living as my nature. And then naturally that touches others. And that's possible for all of us. We all affect ourselves and each other. And the gifts that are given in our own lives are gifts of things we had to learn. Naturally, people will come to us because they want to learn that too. They want to come free too. For some reason in my life, because I had a big surgery of my kidneys, for some reason there are all these people that coming to me also that have had all kind of transplants. And what happened for them, or before they go and do it, or when they're on dialysis or whatever. So that was given to me by life. And something in me got resolved around that, and people start coming to me around that. And so we have all our experiences in our life that we learn from. And then naturally, people come to us and want your expertise. Yeah. Want your experience. Because true expertise comes from experience. Yeah. Nobody that not have, anybody that did not have a surgery like a transplant, you cannot really understand. You cannot really understand. Same as I cannot really understand. I never had a child that was birthed through me. I will never understand what it will be to give birth to a child. I can be with someone. I've been with girlfriends that gave birth and join in that energy, which is amazing. And I will never know what that's like. So we can speak then, as I can speak from my experience. You can speak whatever your gift is from your experience. There's an awakeness in that. And that's the gift that we give to each other, to oneself and each other. And every experience in our lives, what life gives us, life is here for us, always, will help us to deepen more into our nature, into that foundation of all that is, which is the unnameable. I call it the silence or great unknown, but it doesn't touch it because it's so profoundly unnameable, because it's not of this world. Even though we are that, not of this world, we are all of that. I just want to, I hope it's coming across today that this shift is this revolution of spirit, in my experience, is very simple. It's just stepping out of the world of form, out of the world of mind, into the world that's underneath mind, into the sky, into the silent darkness, to make that your beloved. When something is your beloved, you give it your all, every fiber of your body, soul, being, moment. You put all your money on it. You give it all your time and space. You give it your all. Even if you don't know how, it doesn't matter. You just give it your all. And just see in your own life, where do you give your attention? Where do you give your heart? My invitation is to give your heart to your nature. Come back home. So we can all together live that revolution of spirit. That shift inside will also happen in the so-called world. It's possible. It's possible for all of us. Anything is possible. It just takes everything. It's a dying to what is. To giving up. Letting go. And letting go really means a letting be. It's not something I take, bam, throw it out, I let go. No, letting go is just, I'm letting it be as it is. Rest inside and move as that awake awareness, resting everywhere. Then everything comes home to itself. Darkness comes home to itself. Love comes home to itself. Consciousness comes home to itself. She comes home to itself. You're living, then you're live on another timeline. Then when you need to attend to worldly issues like, taxes or so on, you attend to it from presence. It's very different. Naturally, everything will come to coherence. Okay, I think that's what I want to say for now. So I want to invite you that whoever has a question or if you want to share, I'd love to hear from you. And same as yesterday, when you share, please share what's alive in the moment. Yeah, no long stories. It's just what's alive here right now. What's most potent. And I love to hear you share. And if you have questions, all is welcome. I think Emily, you were first. So please unmute yourself and then we can talk a little bit.
Hi, Marlies.
Hi, Emily.
Yeah, hi. Right now I feel very kind of awake and alive and sort of sense of energy and lightheartedness. And it's more of a sharing than a question, but what I was noticing during the last meditation session was that whilst on some level I was kind of deeply resting in the silence, my little mind was she was kind of really busy, and it was kind of like micromanaging kind of the meditator, like checking, like going back to my breath. But it was just like nonstop. And at one point I just kind of started to laugh because it's like this kind of chaos inside that I have no control over, right? It was like she's kind of just doing her thing, bouncing around and somehow not quite able to just let go, but somehow recognizing that I don't have any control over that at some level, and I think that's where the laughter came. Like it's so ridiculous, right? It just like it's kind of funny and sweet and slightly maddening and just kind of so it's kind of interesting to just notice that. And I know that that's also true in my life a lot, like I wake up in the morning and I'm just babbling at myself, and then I do my practice to come back to quiet, it's like yeah. But it's not that I feel disturbed by it.
I can feel it. Right, exactly. And that's what I feel. You're not disturbed by it. It's like the umbilical cord is cut. And now it's just doing its thing till it's done. It's to run its course. So there is a quality of freedom in it which makes it different. And there is something about when the more and more you start resting inside, then at some point, letting go will happen. I'm sure you have experienced that and not with other things.
Yeah.
So there will come a deeper letting go into silence. And then knowing that this at some point will just let go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of good to notice in a way.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Good to see you. I think Stanley was next.
Can you hear me?
Stanley?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. I cannot see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, Stanley.
Can you
Is
see?
this Stanley?
Yeah. I'm Christopher's son.
Pardon?
Christopher's son, mother?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was
It's
contemplating.
been a while since I've seen you.
Yes, it has been a while. I was contemplating what you were saying about deepening into spirit or essence or what you name it. And I was also have this deep longing to express spirit through form. And that's what I thought this life experience is how we can express the beloved through form, through this physical life that we're living. And I just wanted to have some clarification of if we live from this essence, from this deep place of beingness, how to balance that. In other words, how do we live in being and express that in the physical form? Because as an elder in my life right now, I just feel this deep longing to give, to express. It's almost like obsessive. It feels like grasping a little bit, but just such a longing to contribute and to express myself in this life. To give.
Yes. So I want you to know you're giving right now. You're expressing your nature here right now because you're not thinking about it. This is your expression. So just know that it's not this big thing, even though it's this big thing. It's happening right now. This is your expression that comes straight from her, straight from your nature. You're not fabricating anything. It's here. Yeah. Because that's what happens. There are not two separate things. I'm resting and then I'm taking action. The resting is the action. Yeah. So that you came forward here and speak as you are speaking or spoke, that's your expression. The heart wish, expressing your heart wish, which comes straight from her, from your nature. Yeah. So just know it is already happening. So the more we're resting as our nature and acknowledge that, the more naturally action is silence. Silence is action. And it's not interfered or being, how do you say that? Being interfered by mind, small mind. Yeah. So just notice how something calms inside. And that what's happening right now is also expression of your nature. So it's not this complicated, very intense thing. So on purpose, I'm making it very, very simple here. Yes, sorry, just go ahead.
I feel that. I think I get that. At the same time, there's this urge to go do it. So where do you, I mean, does that just unfold spontaneously? I mean, I imagine that it would. But I guess there's this desperation to create.
So then, yes. So just meet that desperation. So the desperation, when you speak about it, has a certain sensation to it in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where is that in your body? What's the sensation that tells you there's desperation? There's tears.
Well, it's love. Wanting to accept.
Yes. Yes. So stay with that sense. It's love that wants to express. But notice there's an extra layer on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just notice that. Taste that. Yeah. Yeah. It's different, huh? Yeah. So it's even that desperation you need to bring home first before love can express itself. Yeah. Because with any natural action that comes from the heart, it doesn't need an extra layer on top of it. Yeah, that's just ego wanting to take it over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nice of the ego, but it's a layer that's not what's from our nature. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, yeah. So just stay with that tender longing and see how that wants to unfold. Because that comes from the core of your being. That heart wish is put there by true nature herself. Yeah, because it's her living us, in a way you could say. And then we fall in with her as her and we become her action. It's not so personal.
I'm glad you said that. That kind of made a difference to me, that it's not so personal.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's actually not personal.
Yeah, and I kind of get that in the moment.
Yeah. Yes. And that's all there is, the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Wonderful to see you. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful to be here with your yellow.
Yeah. It's the same for. Pardon? Say that again.
Yellow cat. The yellow.
Yes.
Cat.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of the same if I would say, oh, I really want to teach, I really want to change, then it's like my whole ego goes with the nonsense.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I get into.
That's exactly. And that's just an extra overlay
Mm-hmm.
that perhaps looks impressive to the outer world, but it's not it.
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, Lorraine.
Hi, Marlies. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Lorraine.
I forgot my question, but I'll just. I get so reactivated, waiting to go on and ask my question. Anyway,
Yes.
the first meditation was really, felt really great. I was had a lot of thoughts of different different experiences I had in my childhood that were kind of nice, but normally I don't have those. I have not good experiences of my childhood. So
Yeah.
it was nice to almost see some things that I could appreciate, Anyway,
Well, you say there's something very important to really appreciate that and drink that and be nourished by that.
yeah, and I
So I
felt,
would later in the day, if you feel moved to, take some time to feel also the goodness of the past, the goodness of your childhood. Yeah.
so I went through kind of a bunch of things like that. I was kind of in a place of gratitude. And then during the second meditation, it was very different. I was, my mind was going, I was thinking about, things, bad things and good, just, it was a whole different place. It was a whole different, it was that
Right.
shift into the thoughts. No, and I just wonder, I mean, I have thoughts going on all the time, Um,
You got some more going on all the time too. What's that?
I guess just an uneasiness. I mean, I've had a lot of experiences, just a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
mystical experiences,
Yeah.
just
So what did those mystical experiences and everything, what did they show you
well,
that is still here? What did they show you?
they showed me. I mean, I don't know what they show me on the whole. I mean, I can think of one experience, for example. Um, I mean, it wasn't. It didn't come out of a good experience. My granddaughter passed away, and my mother passed away in the same week. And when my mother passed away, or when my granddaughter, I can't remember. It was in the same week, and I think it was when my daughter called me, and it was, the baby was really sick. She was born with things wrong with her. Anyway, so in that period of time, I know where I was standing, and after the kind of like, oh my God, like the kind of resistance and the shock about it, all of a sudden, it was like this opening happened, and it looked like life changes all the time. So, life is constantly changing, but it wasn't a bad thing at all. It was like, uh, a realization, that life changes all the time and something stays the same. And I feel like I was living in that place that stays the same, that sort of, that place of where everything's happening, I don't know how to express that. But
Yeah, I understand.
I guess my question would be, even though I've seen things and there's been a lot of openings for me, I don't abide in any of that. I mean, it comes up sometimes and I can feel it when it comes up, but maybe the thought, just the thoughts are too loud, or they cover up, you know, they cover up that silent part that knows all that.
Well, the thoughts are incapable of cover up the silence. We think that it does. So I know that you know, Lorraine, because you're speaking it, right? What you were sharing in the second period of meditation was the busyness of mind, right? And then the silence, or whatever word you give it, the silence was simultaneously here. So it's here simultaneously. That's also what the Buddha spoke about, the simultaneity of everything that's here. But now I know you have a choice where you want to locate. And that's your practice. And abiding will happen when it will happen. The only thing you can do is keep on coming back. So first, it's already great that you can see, like, wow, holy smoke, my mind is busy from here to Tokyo, it doesn't stop. And that's exactly your realization that you had. Life is ever changing. It changes all the time. The mind changes all the time. It just comes up with anything. Isn't it remarkable? What an incredible vehicle that is. It comes up with anything. And then coming back to the silence to see that. And then often when there is a form of trauma, then it's sometimes also good to look into the mind if there's a certain pattern that it's throwing up. Like in the second meditation, was there, for instance, a certain pattern in the thinking? Like a pattern that's all about defensiveness, or a pattern that's all about I'm afraid, or whatever it is. Because that can be helpful also to just see. And then choosing, literally kind of saying to yourself, I'm choosing to rest, come back to that what is already still, put my hands on my belly and rest there. We are going against the stream. We're going against a stream that's huge on this planet Earth, huge in humanity. Man has forgotten who he, she really is. It has forgotten. And each and us know that we have forgotten, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here. We know that our minds is not the truth. We know that this fucking upstairs here is not the truth. That's why we're here. But I think you also need to know, and I think that is what most of us cannot quite get, is we can make a choice to put our hands on our belly, breathe in our belly, and start resting back. Even if in a period of 40 minutes, we need to do it at 500 times. Yeah. And that's what it takes. It's wonderful to want to be free and abide and this and that and all the things we hear. We all want that. But it's not that easy. It takes everything. It will kill you as you know yourself to be. And again, it's nice when you read about it in a book, but it takes everything. So when you see your mind is busy, notice, oh wow, my busy mind. And then either explore in it. Does this have to do anything with the old trauma, like a repeat that goes in circles? Or is it just at random mind flowing around? And then come back or inquire into and come back. Yeah, we really need to come to a place where we really choose for the narrow path. It's like, I just choose for this. Life, help me. Because life will help us, has helped you. And it's not about beating yourself up. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just the unfolding that's happening. And it can be frustrating. Yeah. I was with a group of friends. We sit every Monday. We sit together. And I'm the youngest. They're all in their 70s. And I remember when we started, it's, 2-3 years ago. And they're all deep practitioners. We all are. And some of them 50 years or even longer. And I remember we had been sitting together and everybody was kind of sharing. And then one after the other, it's like, wow, they're all really deeply awake people. And everybody, one after another, said, wow, it was a wonderful meditation. I was just in my mind the whole time. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, and everybody was laughing. So it's like, it's just noticing it's part of our humanity. That's also the beauty. When it doesn't always go as we want it to go, there's just something rising in the heart, such compassion. Or this person called Lorraine or Marlies or Margaret or God knows who, that does anything she can to be here, to just be here. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. We're just busy to be here, just to be here, be ourselves, be our nature, living as that. And this is all part of it. Frustration happens. Everything happens. And it's changing all the time. And who you are is still here. And more and more and more, there's this natural detachment that happens. And when there's trauma in the body, then the trauma in the body needs to be addressed. Because that helps the system, the nervous system to calm. And then it's easier for the brain to calm. And then it's easier to let go into the silence of your being. Yeah. So you're not alone in this. Yeah. Because your awake awareness is seeing all of this. Just locate there. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that's helpful.
Yeah. It is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great to have you. Yes. Okay, Margaret, thanks for your patience.
Just going to jump in there, Marlies. Two people, Louise, asked me to ask you their raised hand function isn't working. So if anyone else has,
okay,
then just write to me and I can jump in. So Louise is up next.
Okay, great. Louise is next before Margaret?
Louise.
Or why don't I just first...
And then Margaret.
Louise and Karen?
Carol, yes.
Carol. Mm-hmm. So who should I start with first, Kali?
Louise would be first.
Louise. Okay. Sorry, Margaret. We will come to each other. So Louise first.
Hi. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Louise.
Hi, Marlies.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Yeah, the two sits this morning became very potent for me.
Yes.
Something that's kind of been like really foreground lately is this tension that I've been holding like for years in my hip. I've just been, breathing with it and just getting really close to it. And there's just this, there was just a moment of touching something really beautiful with it today. And I think it's really similar to what Stanley was sharing. So the holding is what I'm hearing now from the holding is like, and I've actually been hearing it forever, but the degree to which I'm hearing it is just really it's like the higher, it's like this immense like high resolution that's like really incredible. And there's this sense of like I can't, like I can't, it's just this like struggle, like I can't. And yeah, it feels really powerful and really deafening, actually.
Mm-hmm. So Louise, yeah. So let's stay really present here. Feel yourself, feel your body sitting on the couch. And just feel the tears that are here. And just also know how there's part of you feels like, oh, something is opening. And another part comes in deeper connection with like, I can't, I cannot. Right? So let's be with that here together. Let's stay really present. You might even want to look in my eyes as far as that's possible here online. Just let this move through you. Just let's stay really present. So we are the spaciousness. With everybody here online, we're the spaciousness. There are the tears. There are the words, I cannot, and how familiar that is. And the opening that's happening. And see what it's like to stay connected. Feel your breath. Letting that move. It's just all the experiences moving through. That feels very uncomfortable. Let it move through. And we are here. It's good to blow your nose, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So just feel how the wave got stronger and now it's a little less. Can you feel that? Yeah. So let's keep on staying present here. We are the space. We are the silence. That's your nature. Your nature is not touched by this. The tears are there. The tension. I cannot. And the opening. And the breath is deepening. Just feel how you come more in your butt, in your sits bones. Yes. You're not alone right now. You're surrounded. Part of this field. It's kind of, you could say, a blockage in energy. It's just wanting to come to coherence.
I feel like today, like I kind of touched it like from the inside, and it's like incredible. It's so beautiful.
Exactly. It's waking up.
I feel like the kind of the outer crust, like the block, is the I can't comes from like just feeling like I can't give or take in, like the connection can't be made, because I mean, growing up, it's like I can't there was this like struggle. It's like I felt really powerless to stop the violence in my family.
Yes. And you were. You're little. That's not your job to stop the violence in the family. It's not your fault. Just your parents didn't know how to be parents, and they're not to blame, But it's very scary when you grow up in that. So just see how right now you're not powerless. You're actually in your power. You're sitting here. It's opening up. I love it to see you blow your nose. It's funny. So just know this is all coming free. It's moving through you, moving through your nature, your body. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It's time to rejoice. That's been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, it feels like something was recovered, It was like it's just in the other room, but just coming in
Yes.
this room, it's like it's just one wall.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you, Louise, too. Mm. Okay. So So, Kali, who will be the next one? I'm so grateful you're keeping track of this.
Absolutely. Carol, if you'd like to go next.
Carol? Yeah.
Hello, Marlies.
Hi, Carol.
You can hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can hear you, and I can see you now, too.
Okay. What a potent time.
Isn't it?
It's like in the midst of nothing happening, everything is happening. But the reason I wanted to raise my hand, even though I didn't quite figure out how to do that, was when you gave us the invitation to move into the experience of letting ourselves be in our minds, and then to shift into the silence, and then back and forth. And what my experience is in the silence, my energy is centered around my gut, and I'm very grounded. And it's just quiet. And then when you invited us to go into our heads, what I noticed is the energy was all up from the shoulders on up, right? Completely. But what I was really struck by was almost like a point of confusion, because when I was up there, there was a sense of being alive.
Mm.
And when I paid attention to that more deeply, it was, I think it's just tied to an identity of a person who's alive, who does things, something like that. And this place is a place of real confusion for me, has been for like decades. The difference between being identified and attached, and this felt sense of a uniqueness, like a uniqueness. And so when you said something like, it takes everything you know yourself to be, there's still something that's going, that there's a uniqueness. And I don't know whether it's attachment to that notion, but it feels really pure in a way.
I would trust that, Carol. Trust that. What if you would trust that uniqueness?
I think that would help peel between this sense of uniqueness and this identity of an attachment. See, attachment.
And the attachment is the identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they're both there, and they're all up here. It's all up here. Not the uniqueness. The uniqueness.
Yeah. So just notice that. What there is upstairs. So just see when you're upstairs, you want to figure it out.
Yeah.
So just notice this energy here upstairs.
Yeah.
And then there's, in the heart, there's a knowing of the uniqueness, a direct experience.
Yeah.
And in the gut is the ground.
Yes.
So what if this can be all here together simultaneously? You don't have to make a particular choice.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because that hits home, huh? Yes.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it hits home and it brings everything home.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. It's a wonderful question or sharing, because, in that experiment, mind, resting silence, mind, resting silence. But at some point, it doesn't matter anymore. It's just a movement. And then in the end, or in the middle, or somewhere, you just rest. And this is just moving. And you're just resting. All is well. Yeah. Everything dissolves. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That was a wonderful experiment. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Wonderful to have you. I think it's now Marianne or Margaret, right? Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Thank you for your patience. Okay. Hi, Margaret.
Hi. So, this morning before our meeting, I was contemplating something that I've heard you say many times about kissing something that might arise, or kissing a difficult energy. And I practiced touching very lightly energies, and that seems to work, but I couldn't quite imagine how I would kiss it. And I've never been able to have that happen. And this morning in meditation, there were some difficult emotions, stories, just heavy energies, and kissing them happened. And I'm not even quite sure how to explain that exactly, because it wasn't like it. So it was kissing them, but but there was the most beautiful dissolving. Sometimes it took a few times, but it had to do with a that action had to do with felt like a deeper acceptance, a presence of, it was a presence bigger than I am. It was I don't know what it was, but it changed. It changed, and I just wanted to share that, and I didn't know if you had anything else to add.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I think that it's beautiful, every word you shared. And I think what I find also beautiful is how you mentioned there's this presence that came in, or you didn't quite know how to call it. That's what happens when we kiss something, because it's in a way total acceptance. It's a total love. You kiss what you love, what you like, So it's like a total meeting, a total acceptance. And then naturally presence will be revealed, because anything that was happening, it just dissolves into being. Yeah. Till the dissolving or being is where we are located. Or it's what we are. Located is a way of saying it, but it's what we are. It's what we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always. And then in daily life, all flavors come and go. That's just part of life. It's the beauty of life. It's ever changing. How amazing is that?
Mm-hmm. It's miraculous.
Mind. Yeah, it is miraculous. And the mind wants to fixate on one thing. Well, good luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's so much. There's so much to touch. There's so much to kiss.
There is.
Deep, broad, beautiful. Even the most uncomfortable is so exquisitely beautiful at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are touched.
Mm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Margaret. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.